Yo, what is up, everybody? It's Jay the Great here, and welcome back to another Naruto reaction video here today. And today we got an all-new video by the great Swagkage, and as you can tell by the title, this is Ranking Every Reanimation from Weakest to Strongest. Now, folks, there are clearly many Edo Tensei shinobi within the war arc, and to rank every single one is quite the task, to say the least. We do know a few rankings based from statements made and from feats accomplished, right? Nagato was stated as the second strongest Edo in the war arc after Madara himself. However, that seemed to be overridden by the fact that Itachi bested him in battle, right? So you can make an argument that Itachi was the second strongest Edo, right? And then after that, it gets very, very ambiguous as to how strong some of these shinobi are. There were some Kage that fought, Gaara's division. They're probably up there. The Seven Swordsmen of the Mist, who knows how Swag's going to rank them specifically. I'm very interested to see what you guys say about that. And overall, it's quite the task, like I said, to actually rank every single one. So again, I'm very intrigued to see how Swag is going to do it. But before I begin, anyways, really appreciate it. Hit that like button, turn on bell notifications to stay updated with yours truly. And if you're new and you enjoy, man, you mess with the kid, make sure to hit that sub button, because once you do, become part of the family forever. But let's not waste any more time, screen. See what Swag has to say today.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Swagkage here.
What up?
And today I'm doing something. So I think this is going to be fun, even though some of you might find it a bit redundant, because I did just a few months ago rank every Naruto character. But this seems specific enough that, well, there are also some characters that we didn't really talk about in that video. Granted, anybody who wasn't important enough to be featured in the every character tier list probably won't have too much time dedicated to them here. But anyway, this is also a bit more concise, right? Because if you watch that video, you have to sit there for, what is it, like 3 hours, and then just wait to get to some of the characters that you'll probably hear about within like 30 minutes or something in this video. Anyway, I'm not alone. Today I have brought my friend with me, the same guy who helped me rank every Naruto character. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. It's your host, Six the Programmer. And yeah, this is just like a more concise way of ranking all the different Naruto characters. Like in the other video, it's 3 or so hours, so kind of took a while to get to some of them. So yeah, this one's just a lot more concise, a lot easier to do.
Starting off, number 40, we have Shin, and not the one you might be thinking of. Not the one that fought Sakura, not the one with all the eyeballs on his body. That's a different one. It is a non-Uchiha guy named Shin, and this guy is actually Sai's brother. He's here at the bottom because he's totally featless. He doesn't really do like anything.
Yeah,
fair enough.
He just gets turned into a bomb, and then he gets sealed up. Now, the argument for him being strong is just that Kabuto did bring him back. But it's like, for
that
what?
applies to literally everybody else here.
Right? Yeah, so he's just the weakest of the strong. That's it.
It's like the only single prerequisite that he meets.
Numbers 35 through 39. So this is the 5 members of the 7 ninja swordsmen that are like not Mangetsu or Zabuza. 6 and I didn't really feel like ranking them individually because honestly, honestly, who cares? You could probably, if you really studied them, figure out a way to put any one of them individually above some of the people who are above them on the list. But I who cares?
Exactly.
Right?
I believe in the anime.
So straight off the bat, it seems the way that Swag and Six are going to rank these reanimated shinobi is simply based off the feats that we visibly see. Right. Now, is it the most optimal way to rank them, in my opinion? Maybe not, but it is the safest way to do so. So I would probably do it the same way, because if you use headcanon, if you use data books, if you try to get very pedantic in your power scaling assessment of the shinobi, this video would be 5 hours long. So this is a very good way of ranking them. Not the most accurate or concise way, but it is the safest and acceptable way. Let's just put it that way. Let's continue.
She fights some of them one-on-one, and maybe you could get some scaling through that. But in the manga, it's just not there. It's just like they all come back as a group. they're all this really just super strong subsect of the Edo Tensei army.
Right.
But they're like the lowest ones, aside from Sai's useless brother.
They're basically just like jonin level, like essentially. There's nothing about them that makes them seem substantially more powerful than that.
And the only thing to even like think that is, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be the strongest generation of the 7 ninja swordsmen. But then even then it excludes people like Kisame. They don't have Samehada. So I mean, them being this low on this specific list is perfectly fine.
This is numbers 33 through 34. So we have Pakura, the user of Scorch Release, Toroi, the user of Magnet Release, and Gari, the user of Explosion
kekkei genkai users. All right.
All 3 of these guys are mostly featless. They don't really do anything, but they do have a kekkei genkai, which the swordsmen don't. And both groups are featless, so
right.
I don't know, man.
There's not much
like
you can
Gari's
do.
Weapons are bigger.
I mean, it's just like when you compare quality of shinobi, right? So let's just say, for example, the 7 ninja swordsmen are all S-class shinobi. The kekkei genkai users would all be like S+ class, maybe Z class if you like Dragon Ball games.
Yeah.
And then Zabuza does say Haku has a kekkei genkai, and he considers kekkei genkai to be like this crazy power, because when he finds out Sasuke has one,
good point,
he thinks, oh well, he might be Haku's equal, even though we know Sasuke is not Haku's equal. So you could just say like quality of shinobi, these 3 should be maybe stronger.
That's fair. That's a very good foundation for this premise.
Because they have built-in kekkei genkai, whereas the swords are like kind of their own in a way.
Pakura is also just running around like one-shotting people, and I know they're fodder ninja, but she just totally like melts them from the inside, right? Like she seems to be like a pretty serious threat in a way that some of the 7 swordsmen aren't. Again, this is kind of interchangeable. I would never like stay up all night fighting somebody about this or anything.
Agreed.
But it just feels correct to have them above.
Just contentious and very
Next
ambiguous.
Up,
clearly,
we have Chiyo, and dude, this is the weirdest one. I think.
Yeah. It's so strange.
Chiyo, as far as we're aware, feel free to correct us. We're gonna look really stupid if this isn't the case, but pretty sure. After looking through it, that Chiyo does not actually use her puppets at any point that we know of in the manga, and so it's like what the fuck is she supposed to do? Like that's her whole thing. She doesn't have any non-puppet jutsu that are combat relevant, I should say. I guess she can use the like reanimation thing to bring people back. Not Edo Tensei reanimation, the one she used to revive Gaara, but that doesn't really like. I don't see how that would help in a combat setting. So, like, it's just that she's with people like Kimimaro and Hanzo, and knowing who Chiyo is and all the hype that she has as, like, somebody who regularly fought Hanzo and somebody who thought that she could kill the White Fang, it would feel weird to put her below, like, the 7 swordsmen and stuff. Because she's definitely implied to be around that, like, Sanin-ish level, especially in her prime.
Fair enough.
And she lived for a while, right? Like fighting all of those samurai and stuff.
Yeah.
Somehow. So she must have been strong or something, but like I just don't know how. This just feels like the correct place to put her, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to like talk about somewhere Chiyo might scale without her puppets, base Naruto does react to her at the beginning of the Kazekage rescue arc. Now, you can argue Chiyo gets stronger from this point when she gains like a bit of resolve back after fighting alongside Sakura. The data books sort of imply that. I'm just saying, like, Chiyo without puppets, she's not going higher than this at all.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So, next up, we have Asuma. He's kind of interchangeable with the person that we have above him. But Asuma's just like solidly high jonin level. I don't really know what this means for him, but he was a member of the Guardian Shinobi 12, which is it's kind of like a nothing org in Naruto, right? Like,
I agree.
We don't really know anything about the Guardian Shinobi 12, but Asuma was like one of those like high tier jonin from Konoha. Like, he wasn't a nobody. People talked about him and respected him. He did fight Hidan, and granted, he had help, but he beat Hidan and decapitated him, which is pretty impressive. And it takes all of Shikamaru, Ino, and Choji working together. So Kakazu even hypes him up as well. Do you have anything else you want to say about Asuma?
No, not at all.
So next up we have Hisashi. He's strong. He's like one of the patriarchs of the Hugh.
Okay, I don't mean to be overly pedantic here, right? Because clearly they're not being pedantic as well. But they put Asuma over Chiyo. But they stated that Chiyo is around Saninish level. By putting Asuma over Chiyo, they're sort of implying that Asuma is above that or relative to that. I don't know if I'm into that. However, we don't know their exact criteria for ranking these reanimated shinobi if they're going solely off their Edo Tensei versions, right? Based off what we've seen, not what they're capable of in theory. What we've seen, this makes sense, right? Asuma was battling Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji. He did more than fucking Chiyo did. Like Swag said, Chiyo didn't have her puppets, right? But from what they're saying, it seems like they're taking into consideration what they accomplished when they were alive, and I wouldn't necessarily put Asuma above Chiyo. But again, if it's solely off what they did as Edos and based off what we do know, then this is a fair ranking. But let's continue.
Hyuga clan. We don't see him do much,
Oh,
but
interesting.
like he should be around this like high jonin level.
Yep. High jonin level. He's got the gentle fist, the Byakugan, so
Yeah.
pretty good at hand-to-hand combat. That's why I have him above Zabuza. Or that's why I would put him above Zabuza. Not Zabuza. I mean Asuma. Oh my god.
Yeah. Speaking of, we actually have Zabuza right above him.
Interesting.
Zabuza's strong, right? He's not like a monster or anything, but he's definitely like way stronger than the other 7 swordsmen because he actually fights Kakashi for an extended period in the manga. He loses. Like it's kind of like a sound defeat, but he still fights him. Haku does eventually start helping him out, but like, you know, like the other 7 swordsmen are not a threat.
Yeah, it's because of his demon mist aura. Like Zabuza's got a base form and then like kind of a Super Saiyan transformation.
Right.
So in part 1, we don't see Zabuza use his demon mist aura until he goes up against like Gato's goons at the very end. That's why people find it weird that in the war arc, Zabuza can like kind of keep up with Kakashi. Like Kakashi definitely is stronger than him still, and he beats him. But they're like, oh, he was part 1 Kakashi level, so Kakashi's gotten no stronger. It's not that. It's just that in the war arc, Kabuto made Zabuza activate his demon mist aura almost instantly. So Zabuza was able to land like that cheap shot on Kakashi through Haku like he was unwilling to do before.
Right.
So yeah, that's it. It's just Zabuza's pretty strong.
I agree.
Next up, we have Mangetsu. So it's either directly stated or implied very heavily that Mangetsu is the strongest member of the 7 ninja swordsmen. He's capable of wielding all 7 swords very effectively. He's related to Suigetsu and Gengetsu, who are both exceptionally strong. Suigetsu's not like a top tier or anything, but he does live through being like lasered to the face by B.
Yeah, like point blank.
Mangetsu feels like it feels like people think he's almost stronger than Suigetsu is.
Yeah, definitely in Kisame's eyes. And Kisame thinks Suigetsu is like a child prodigy.
Next up, we have Haku, which, like, I don't think anybody's going to be surprised by this. He was definitely going above Zabuza because Zabuza says himself repeatedly, many times that Haku is stronger than he is.
Yeah.
A lot of people contest this. They're like, oh, but Sasuke hit Haku, but Naruto beat, like...
Haku wasn't trying.
Yeah. Haku stopped trying. Also, Naruto's bridge amp was, like, crazy.
Yeah. Not only was it crazy, by that point, Haku, like, admits he weakened himself by using the ice mirror for so long. Because he was just, like, playing around with Naruto and Sasuke, you know, hitting him with his needles and whatnot. just holding back, and then he held back for so long. It was just he got weakened, and Naruto was able to get the upper hand on him. So when you take into account Zabuza's demon mist aura, and the fact that him and Kakashi in part 1, they're like sort of relative, right? Kakashi is definitely on the higher end, but with the demon mist aura, he can supposedly get relative again to War Art Kakashi. It just should just put in perspective for you just how strong Haku can get.
Well, I mean, like, he straight up just blitzes Kakashi.
Yeah, Raikiri Kakashi.
Next up, we have Don. So,
Interesting.
This one was weird. This one was weird to
Yeah.
do. So Don has this spirit moving technique, or whatever. And there's this one feat where he kind of
It's so crazy, dude.
He kind of outspeeds Madara. it's a little weird. He outspeeds Madara.
Right.
He moves Tsunade out the way.
I forgot about that.
And then not only does he outspeed Madara, and it's weird because like Don got clapped by just random jonin way back.
Don't even
in the
know
day.
who they are.
So
Not named
exactly.
or anything.
Exactly.
So it's not like Dan is always super strong. So maybe it's just his like spirit fission technique.
You didn't even get
whatever.
into the craziest thing that he did.
Yeah. And then that's ignoring the other part that makes this weird, which is after he saves Tsunade, he completely reheals her 100 healings mark. He brings it all the way back. And we know that mark, it has to have a certain amount of chakra to even appear on the forehead. Sakura was doing it for 3 years.
He could be way higher, but like, I don't know. He's definitely above everybody who's below him. I mean, but maybe he's not. Like, maybe Haku would clap him up, but like, would he? So next up,
If he's outspeeding
we have
Madara,
Kakuzu,
shit.
whose ass, he sucks. He is the weakest of the Akatsuki.
His best feat is just beating pain. So 24
Damn.
is a good spot for him. Multi-continental, you know.
In all seriousness,
Multi-continental.
the reason that we have
Beats
Kakuzu
pain.
here at number 24 and not higher is because I think it's very funny to downplay Kakuzu. Me personally, I've started getting really attached to the idea that he and Hidan are the weakest Akatsuki duo. If you guys are interested, I can make a video where I discuss this in more detail at some point in the future.
Please do,
but,
Swag. Please do.
Now, like, if I'm being totally real with you guys, would I say that it is unfair and definitely indicative of bias that Kakuzu is below Sasori with no puppets? Would I say that, you know, I'm just being petty and dicking around and trolling? No, I would never say that. But
But is it true?
well, if it was, I would never say so. So
I see. Nice.
next up at number 23, we have Sasori. Now, this is extremely like extra ultra weird because Sasori doesn't have his puppets or his puppet body.
But he can control other people. Kankuro might just be heat.
Yeah, I mean, Kankuro also does have Sasori's puppet body, who, I mean, let's be real, is probably Sasori's best puppet.
Yeah.
I don't see why that wouldn't be the case. And Sasori's 100 puppets were like fighting Chikamatsu's 10, which were like the strongest puppets ever made. So it's probably like Sasori's body might be like the Excalibur of Naruto puppets.
Right.
And Kankuro does capture Datara, so it's like you said, he might just be heat. Datara's up next at number 22. So normally Datara would be beneath Sasori on a list like this, but Sasori is like nerfed to such a ridiculous extent
As
that
an Edo,
it
right?
would be
Yeah.
really, really, really unfair of me to not say he's higher. Like, no puppets, no puppet body, no third Kazekage stand. Yes, Datara is probably
So,
beating this
so they are
guy.
just going solely based off them as Edos.
Like
Good enough.
beating in a fight,
Understood.
maybe not because Data can't seal anyone, but like
Yeah.
overpowering, definitely.
Yeah.
Because Data at this point, he's willing to use C0 if it comes to it, and he can just regenerate from it.
So next up, this is gonna be weird to some people, but we have Kimimaro. So he just sits there and fights KCM Naruto for like a really long, like extended period of time.
Right.
And the Ceiling Corp, right there.
And in the anime, we do get that Kimimaro like dodged the Rasen Shuriken, and a little bit of quantification for the sickness. They implied that if Kimimaro was with them when they attacked Hiruzen, they would have just smoothed 100% victory.
Next up, number 20.
Interesting.
We have Hanzo.
Okay.
So this guy could be way higher if he was at full power, but like it's implied that over the course of his life he got way weaker, and that like this happening to him is actually the reason Pain was able to beat him. So like this is not prime Hanzo that we're talking about. This is like some weird like weak quote unquote no conviction nerf Hanzo, or whatever. But he fights Mifune and loses, and a lot of people think that this makes Hanzo fodder, but like Mifune's not actually weak, because Mifune fought full power Hanzo, and Hanzo said that like he wasn't able to make any mistakes when fighting Mifune. And we know that full power Hanzo has that crazy feat where he fought a whole platoon of Leaf Ninja, which included the Sannin, and when the Sannin were the only survivors, he gave them their title for managing to live through a fight against him, right? So he's definitely like really strong at full power.
Yes.
But this version of Hanzo just gets like beat up and bullied in a few seconds and doesn't really do anything else aside from that. So it's like it's hard to justify putting him higher.
Fair enough.
Next up, this so
Jinchuriki.
we have an order for this, but this isn't like the order isn't particularly important. So numbers 14 through 19, we have the 6 Jinchuriki that Obito was controlling as his new 6 paths of pain. So if you want to know our order for them, we have Han first, because he kicked Naruto in the face, and also Boil Release gets hyped up like crazy.
Absolutely.
Then Yugito, because B talks about her, like, you know, there's all these statements about how B looks up to her and stuff like that. Roshi, because he actually damages Naruto by burning him. Then next we put Yagura, just because he's like Mizukage. Then after that we have Fu, because she dodges KCM Naruto. And then last Utakata, because he doesn't have any feats. It is a very, very tenuous, like, not set in stone ranking that
very
could
contentious,
be
right?
Wildly different.
I see.
If any minor events in the fight had been different, but
the only outlier would be that Han can activate Boil Release, which should put him in like a different tier, but that's not something he can always have on, right?
yeah,
So,
exactly.
So he's definitely in the spot he belongs.
So next up we have Kinkaku and Ginkaku. These guys are lame, but they're definitely like really, really strong.
Yeah, they are lame for sure.
If we wanted to be dickheads, we could put them above Tobirama. But we're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
So like these guys are kind of weird. On one hand, they critically injured Tobirama and the second Raikage together. Then on the other hand, they get tagged by Ino Shikamaru and Choji.
So these guys are definitely strange, and it's like, okay, when we look at the Tobirama feats, they both have context. So the first time they left him near death, but they were launching surprise attacks. So maybe they were like Nine Tails mode, blowing Biju bombs at him in the second Raikage, and that's what left him in that state of like near death.
Right.
Then the second time, we see that Tobirama and Hiruzen and all them, they have these battle scratches on them. So they were possibly already in a fight. Maybe
Fatigued.
Tobirama was like fatigued or something. Then he goes and engages not only with them, but 18 other people. So maybe they don't scale to him. Maybe Tobirama was, 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 and they killed him that way. Now, you could make an argument that in the second fight, Tobirama managed to get away because they have his body in the leaf. But at the same time, you could make the argument that they just beat him and left him slump on like a tree or something, and they just went and recovered his body. So
I think Six and I would agree that they're probably not beating the guys above them, which are like kind of implied almost certainly to be the cream of the crop for Kabuto's reanimations, with a few exceptions. And that is the Four Kage. Not the Hokage, but the third Raikage, the second Tsuchikage, second Mizukage, and fourth Kazekage.
Yes,
now,
sir.
This is a group that you can rank together as a group, but I think that it is much, much easier to rank them all together here. So I would say that Rasa, the fourth Kazekage, is number 11. Mu and Gengetsu are tied at number 9 and 10.
They killed each other.
And the third Raikage is the strongest out of the 4.
Fair enough.
Yep. You could definitely also make like a shonen villain argument, like they get taken down in a specific order to say one is stronger than the other. Now, we know Mu doesn't actually get taken down, but he gets split in half, and when he's split in half, he doesn't do anything else after that. So
yeah, he basically just acts as like a recon man to talk to Madara. So
yeah, exactly. So Mu and Gengetsu literally just killed each other.
Correct.
So they have to be relative. It sucks because Gengetsu is so lame, but they have to be relative. And Rasa, like I said, it would just follow with that shonen villain-esque argument I gave earlier.
At number 7, right above A the third, we have Hiruzen. So I think that everybody can pretty unanimously agree that the Hokage are just all stronger than the rest of the Kage.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
I also think everybody agrees that Old Man Hiruzen probably the weakest of the 4. Some people think, I mean, this answer actually
contentious, of
varies.
course.
What everyone does agree is that the weakest isn't Hashirama, but I've heard it said that all of the other 3 are the weakest. I've heard people who think Tobirama's the weakest, Hiruzen's the weakest, Minato's the weakest, but I think that most people agree that it's Hiruzen.
That's definitely the more
especially Old
common
Man.
ranking. Like the common ranking is Hashirama, then Minato, then Tobirama, then Hiruzen.
Agreed.
Some people, some of you sickos out there put Tobirama right below Hashirama and right above Minato, but that's, I mean, come on. I know y'all, but I know you watching the video right now. You're smarter than that. You know,
Come on. Tobirama's not above
And
Minato.
the real,
Just stop.
like, you know, high IQ people out there put Minato over Hashirama. But that's, you know, we don't need to talk
We're
about
not going
that.
to do that. No,
That's
no,
tough.
you know,
That's tough.
Hiruzen being below Tobirama is, I mean, so it's like, the thing about these guys is they only really fight Jubito, who bodies them the whole time. So it's kind of hard to compare them. But the reason for Tobirama being above Hiruzen is he does have that 1 feat of teleporting into, like, Jubito and, like, blowing him up with his own Truth Seeker orb, which is, like, like that's kind of blatantly better than anything Hiruzen pulls off. So
Agreed.
I'd say that I'm pretty comfortable with Tobirama being above him. It also just feels right, I guess.
Yeah.
But you
the feat he accomplished kind of implies
to
that.
be
right?
fair,
I think
Jubito does block that attack with the True Secret.
yeah, I know. I agree. I don't think it's like an actual like blitz or anything.
Yeah.
Also, we've discussed this before. Minato is like mental nerve, so. But like it's still pretty impressive to like get in there at all.
Yep.
So Hiruzen at 7, Tobirama at 6. Now this is the part of the video that's gonna get us killed. Like people are gonna come to where we live. But above Tobirama, we have Nagato and Itachi.
Oh, so he puts them above Hiruzen and Tobirama.
This has been a subject of much debate for a very long time.
Yes.
It seems like such a niche fight, but it's actually a pretty heated debate in the community about who would win.
Yes.
Nagato or Itachi. And now before any of you, you know who you are, you sickos, you pieces of shit in the comments say, well, they already fought. Why are you talking about a fight that already happened? At number 5, we have Nagato. And at number 4, we have Itachi. Now, Itachi being this high...
Nice.
Itachi and Nagato being this high, I should say, and, like, above Tobirama and Hiruzen might seem
Thank you, Swag.
Like
Thank you.
ultra cap to some people, but I don't think so. I could see Nagato beating them up. Like, Nagato is insanely strong. So is Itachi, especially as Edo's. Like, Nagato getting hit by a full force lariat and just not taking any damage and then absorbing all of B's chakra on contact in like seconds. Like, it's instant, right?
Yeah.
Like, 1 sec he's getting punched, the next second. Like, I mean, it's like panel to panel, you see B just lose the cloak. Like, he takes all that chakra so fast. So,
yeah. And then Itachi like cuts all his limbs off with just a swipe of his Susanoo arm.
Itachi...
Exactly.
Like, yeah, Itachi does actually fight Nagato, and then he goes on and beats Kabuto in a fight. Whether or not you think Tobirama or Hiruzen could beat Itachi or Nagato, I guess, is up to you. But I feel pretty comfortable putting him up here because he has all that crazy bullshit. Like, he has the Yada mirror, he has the Totsuka blade, he has Yasuka beads, he has Tsukuyomi, Amaterasu, and he can use all this shit infinitely, right? Because he's an Edo Tensei with regeneration. So, and Nagato kind of speaks for himself. All of the abilities of the 6 Paths of Pain, the Soul Steal, the speed to keep up with KCM, Naruto, and B. Like, these guys are monsters. And, yeah, all I'm saying is in Storm 3, super reliable source, of course, Kabuto does say that Nagato is his 2nd strongest summon. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
then he
cool.
loses.
Next up,
All right.
now we have the, like, fucking, like, monster territory. Like, these are the, like, the unstoppable ones. This is, like...
Right on site.
Like, this is probably, like, triple S tier, I'd say. At number 3,
Minato,
we have Minato. This guy is fucking absurd as an Edo.
Yeah.
Like,
He's a fucking monster. I mean,
he's Minato, who's already like insane in base, plus a whole KCM like buff.
So you want to know some insane shit Minato did?
Yeah.
Minato outsped one of his own flying Raijin.
Wait, how'd he do that?
So when Minato grabs the Ten Tails bomb, he teleports it away, right? Then he throws a kunai and teleports back before the bomb lands and explodes.
That's so crazy. Yeah, you're totally right. I remember exactly what you're talking about too.
Not saying
I mean, like,
Minato can move faster than an instant, but he can probably, like, flying Raijin might not actually be complete teleportation.
I mean, he
can
can't
probably
not
do
move
that.
faster than an instant based on that.
I'm just saying.
He does have that
something he
Madara
does.
feat where he like intercepts an attack from Madara in base. So, 6 Paths Madara. So maybe he's, you know, a little bit higher, but I would never say that. I would never say Minato could be base Madara or Hashirama, but he did do that thing that somebody who could beat them would be capable of doing. But I'm not saying that he's stronger than them. I would never say that. That would be ridiculous. Even though he did that thing that kind of implies that he is. But I'm not saying.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
agreed.
Number 2, we have Madara. Begrudgingly, I do not have him at number 1 because he does lose that fight against Hashirama.
Yeah. Well, we talked about it before recording. It's either Madara lost or it was a tie. And Madara was under a wood dragon, then subsequently the deity gates. And Hashirama had rods in his back, but he could still move around. So it's kind of more Hashirama W even with the tie.
Yeah. Now, if you actually need it explained to you why Madara is like here, like not below Hashirama, but like above everyone else, like if you need, like, why is he above Tobirama? Like, dude,
you need help.
Like,
You'll need help.
Come on, dude.
No,
Listen. If you need explanation on why the fuck Madara is up here, you need help. You need serious help. That's all I gotta say. You need help.
Moderate. Yeah, we're using that argument.
Smacking everyone below him, except arguably Minato. Well, I would never say that, of course. Madara smacking Minato, even though Minato has that feat of intercepting an attack from him when he's in 6-pass mode. But Minato probably can't beat him. You know, I'd never say that Minato could beat him. But yeah, so like again, if you need like Madara versus Itachi explained to you in 2022, like.
Oh God,
Itachi do have the Yadamir though.
That shit is getting smacked by the perfect Susanoo, and he's flying away.
His little Madara sword is just gonna bounce off the Yadamir.
Definitely not. The force is going to blow through the Susanoo, and Itachi is just gonna go flying. Still in the Susanoo, like he won't take damage, but the like concussive force will just knock him back into a mountain.
Probably, yeah.
Finally, next up, at number 1, shocking no one, Hashirama.
Of course. What'd you expect?
Not a controversial pick at all.
No.
Guy has the true 1,000 hands, wood golem, wood clones, sage mode. Like,
bro showed up and subdued the 10 tails.
Yeah. Not. Like, yeah, you know, you get it. So this was kind of a messy video, but I think it was good.
It's a tough subject.
So,
it's a tough subject.
Great video though, guys. Subscribe to the channel, of course.
Shout out to Swag, shout out to Six.
But this is your first time seeing Six on the channel, or maybe it's not, but you haven't done this yet. Check out his channel. Link to it will be in the description below. He makes fantastic content.
All right, guys.
I'm trying to think of a good like segue out of here, but like,
just say goodbye.
What's going on?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Peace out.
Let me stop my recording.
Great video by them. I definitely got to give my 2 cents on this subject. Clearly, from the video, you could tell it is a highly contentious one, right? So we can get some things out of the way here. Number 1 and number 2, Hashirama and Madara. If you're not including, of course, 6-pass mode by Madara. Hashirama, Madara. Everyone can agree on that unless you're a fucking dumbass, right? If you're a dumbass, then you won't agree, right? After that, it does get already contentious. People always argue, Tobirama versus Minato. Minato's superior. I'm sorry. He is superior. After that, the whole Itachi and Nagato versus Hiruzen and Tobirama debate, that's contentious. That's tough. That's tough. Now looking at this objectively, Itachi beat Nagato, and then he beat Sage Kabuto, right? He did beat them. Tobirama was able to at least get in the vicinity of Jubito when he tried to blow him up. And then Hiruzen, I mean, he didn't really do much. Got clapped by Jubito, displayed showing the ability to use all 5 chakra natures simultaneously. I mean, there's not much in the feats to go based off of. So based off the feats we do know, the most contentious person would be Tobirama, right? Like, could he beat Itachi? As Edos, would he be able to beat Itachi? I don't know. Would he have the speed to do so? I don't know. That's very contentious, right? He was relative to KCM Naruto. He was faster than Nagato. And I think it's safe to say he's probably faster than KCM Naruto. That version, because, right, think of it this way. Nagato was about to kill KCM Naruto. Itachi saved KCM Naruto from Nagato. Hence, there's a scaling progression. There's a transitive implication to be made. Itachi, Nagato, KCM Naruto. However, as we all know, KCM Naruto gets faster and faster throughout the war arc. You know, when he fights Obito, he gets KCM too. But then those very versions themselves also improve upon themselves, right, as you go through the war. By the time he's facing the Ten Tails, his KCM mode is even faster than when it was at the beginning of the war. So you got to put that into perspective as well, right? Tobirama seems to be in that ballpark to some extent. to some extent. It's kind of implied. So from that, you could say, well, Tobirama most likely is faster. Again, that's contentious. I can be here all day. But the point is, it is debatable. There's probably arguments to be made for both sides. I would need more time to assess the situation and come with some more objective and detailed answers, right? So that's a tough one. But however you put it, it's fair. Those guys are like the top tier, below, Hashirama, Madara, and Minato. They're like, oh, they're all there somewhere. Then the Four Kage, that's fair, right? And after that, it's very contentious, right? Putting Asuma over Chiyo, I don't know if I'd do that, even as Edos, I don't know. Asuma did have more feats, so again, it seems like they were going solely based off their versions as Edos and what they did as Edos and their feats, visible feats, right? Not us making any headcanon, but the feats that were accomplished to our very eyes. Then yes, Asuma's above Chiyo. The whole Kakazu thing, that's a tough one. Sasori above Kakazu. I mean, he does have the ability to manipulate individuals, so yes, I would have him above. And yeah, Deidara above Sasori. That's a contentious as well. It's very contentious. The War Arc has a lot of wacky feats accomplished by people that shouldn't be accomplishing these feats, right? Tsunade's lover, I think Don is his name, being able to outspeed fucking Madara, yet got killed by a couple of regular jonin when he was alive, fucking mind-blowing, right? And keep in mind, Edos are weaker versions of their alive selves, for the most part, right? Unless you're Minato and you get a KCM buff. But him doing that puts him in a very high scale, a very high tier. You're outspeeding fucking Madara, the guy who was clapping 5 Kage simultaneously like they were his children. But you outspeed him, and then you give Tsunade enough chakra to use the 100 healings again. What the hell? Like, it's clearly an inconsistent feat. However, it's what we see. It is what it is. So what else could you do but put him up there? Based off what he did, right? Based off what he did. But then again, if you do that, then you could even put Minato above everybody because he outsped 6 pass Madara. He outsped the guy blatantly. In base, not even with KCM, in base, he outsped him. So it's a very, very thin ice situation, how you want to assess these characters. If you want to look at the broader picture, the bigger picture, and say, okay, right, Minato, more likely than not, is not above 6 pass Madara, definitely, right? He did have that little feat where he caught the True Seeking Orbs, disappeared to help Might Guy, right? That's a feat that happened. But is that singular feat enough to negate the very narrative implications the very writers themselves are making? Clearly, 6 pass Madara was the top dog, fucking everybody up. Is that single event enough to be revered to such an extent? You gotta ask yourself that question, right? It's a very slippery slope. You're on some thin ice when you try to make those kind of arguments, right? You're on some thin ice. Because realistically, the story is Madara's the top dog, especially in 6 pass mode. He's fucking killing everybody until, of course, Sasuke and Naruto got 6 pass powers themselves. When you think of it that way, it's a little bit more clear. However, the feats did happen. There's people out there in the debate community and the anime community that use those feats and they revere them. And it's very hard to counter if you don't have the rhetoric to do so, because it did happen, right? It did happen because it's happening before our eyes. But there are arguments to be made to counter those. There are arguments to delegitimize those claims, right? To delegitimize those claims. There are arguments to be made. That's the beauty of anime, right? And fighting-based anime like this. But yeah, guys, I think this was a very good video. I think Swag and Six made some very fair rankings, and they did a very good job on a very, very contentious and ambiguous topic. I think they did a very good job, and their logic was pretty good. Their criteria was solid, and overall, I enjoyed it. Right? So let me know your thoughts of these reanimations. Who do you think is the strongest? Maybe it's completely different for you. Who do you think is the weakest? In between, let me know. I'm always interested to hear your thoughts, but please let me know in the comments. And of course, if you have any other recommendations, let me know in the comments as well. But that's going to wrap it up, folks, and I'll catch you in the next video. It's Jitty Gray signing out. Peace.